into the mystic with your host, Morgan Dragonmoon.
Morgan! Morgan! Ugh, where did he go now? Morgan! Morgan! Hey, watch it!
Oh, excuse me, Alabaster.
Wait,
Did you need something?
have you seen Morgan? He's got a show that's going live right now.
Ah, yes. Young Morgan Dragonmoon. He's inside the potions room, messing around with his potions.
Oh, I should have figured he was gonna be in that room. Oh, stupid human.
You have a good one.
Morgan!
Hey Alabaster, what's up?
Your show's live!
It's not live, Alabaster, it's pre-recorded.
You know what I mean. Get up there!
Okay, I'm going. Relax.
Well, come on, let's go!
Alright, I'm going. Just let me grab my absinthe first. Jeez. Crazy demonic freak.
Stupid human. I swear!
Excuse me. That potion I tested earlier is having a really weird effect on me right now. But good evening, my dark family and friends. This is your host, Morgan Dragonmoon, talking at you from the veil between the two worlds. Sorry it took a little longer than I thought for recording. As you can hear in the earlier, Alabaster, this demon that, well, he's not really a demon. He's more like a dark figure. I'm not exactly sure how to describe him as, but he literally dragged me out of my potions room and brought me into the studio here to record. So I want to thank Alabaster for reminding me that I had to record today. And good thing he did not spill any of my absinthe, because if he did, I would have sent him to the center of the galaxy, into the galactic sun. Excuse me. Oh, a little bit of an afterbite on that one. So, I bet you all are wondering, does Morgan Dragonmoon even celebrate the Chinese New Year? Well, not really, but I do acknowledge that it exists, and I do kind of celebrate it. In fact, today is the Chinese New Year, or the Lunar New Year. In fact, it is the year of the Yang Metal Rat. The rat is the first astrological sign in the Chinese zodiac. The rat is considered to be clever, cunning, entrepreneurial, and good at getting in its own way. As the first sign of the Chinese zodiac, the rat year symbolizes a brand new day, a sunrise, the sunrise, that feeling you get when you first wake in the morning. Under the year of the rat, the first few moments of the mornings are going to be a sacred time. Even if you don't love what you're doing, or even if your alarm goes off far too early for your liking, spend the morning in gratitude will help you thrive in the year of the rat. Not gonna lie, my dark family, but I hate mornings. I'm like a vampire. I thrive better in the evening or the night. Even though I'm a witch, but the yang quality of the rat means we have a masculine vibration to work with in 2020. And masculine as in the positive masculine, not the toxic masculinity everybody's talking about lately. I swear, the millennials. I don't get them. And I'm not gonna lie, my dark family, but I feel like I'm over 30,000 years old. So, if you're wondering why I don't feel any connection to my generation, that's why. And for one, I don't feel at home on this realm. And by this realm, I mean the Earth realm. Here in the veil between the worlds, I feel at home, because this is my home. I don't feel at home in the Earth realm at all. Yeah. So anyways, traditionally, Chinese New Year follows the new moon after the solstice. So the Chinese calendar follows the lunar pattern, which is really cool because it's a lot better than, in my opinion, than the traditional solar calendar like everybody follows. So, with that in mind, why don't we check on where the planetary positions are today and if there's anything in retrograde as of right now. So as of right now, the sun is 5 degrees 43 Aquarius. The moon is 20 degrees 51 Aquarius. Mercury is 16 degrees 11 Aquarius. Venus is 15 degrees 2 Pisces. Mars is 15 degrees 27 Sagittarius. Jupiter is 12 degrees 24 Capricorn. Saturn is 24 degrees 22 Capricorn. Uranus is 2 degrees 44 Taurus. Neptune is 16 degrees 53 Pisces. Pluto is 23 degrees 13 Capricorn. The node is 6 degrees 54 Cancer, and it's in retrograde. Lilith is 29 degrees 52 Pisces, and Chiron is 2 degrees 17 Aries. So that is what the current planetary positions are right now. And let's check on what is going retrograde next. Looks like in 47 days, as of this recording, Mercury will be going in retrograde on February 17th. Not that long after Valentine's Day. Ugh, Valentine's Day. Sorry, folks. I just have my opinions on a holiday. It's a fun holiday if you're not by yourself. I'm just saying. Venus will be going into retrograde May 13th of this year. Mars will be going retrograde September 9th. Jupiter will be going retrograde May 14th. Saturn will be going retrograde May 11th. Uranus is currently in retrograde. Oh wait, no it's not. Sorry. It is gonna go retrograde August 15th. Neptune will be going retrograde June 23rd. Pluto will be going retrograde April 25th. The node will be in retrograde until January 1st of next year. Lilith will be still in direct. And Chiron is supposed to be going retrograde July 11th. So that is it for retrogrades. What was I thinking next? So that's it for that. I know it would be a good topic to talk about right now. Let's talk about cats. And no, I'm not talking about the Broadway musical or the really bad movie that just came out not long ago. I'm talking about the house cat. The cat. Domestic cat. The cat, Felis catus, is a small carnivorous mammal. It is the only domesticated species in the family Felidae, often referred to as the domestic cat to distinguish itself from the wild members of its family. The cat is either a house cat, a farm cat, or a feral cat. The latter ranges freely and avoids human contact. Domesticated cats are valued by humans for companionship, for their ability to hunt rodents. Almost 60 cat breeds are recognized by various cat registries. Don't you just love house cats? I love cats. I have a black and white cat named Halloween. I can tell you the story of how I found her. She was actually a farm cat that wandered off from her farm and ended up being found in our yard, and my parents' yard, and we kept her ever since then. I'm not sure exactly how old she is now, but she's outlived my other parents' cat that they had, Cinnamon, another cat I found too. It was long thought that cat domestication was initiated in Egypt because cats in ancient Egypt were venerated since around 3100 BC. However, the earliest indication of taming of an African wild cat was found in Cyprus, where a cat skeleton was excavated close by a human Neolithic grave dating around 7500 BC. African wildcats were probably first domesticated in the Near East. As of 2017, the domestic cat, was the second most popular pet in the United States by the number of pets owned, after freshwater fish, with 955 million cats owned. In the United Kingdom, around 7.3 million cats live in more than 4.8 million households as of 2019. Yeah. Interesting, right? Let's look on cats in Egypt right now, because you're probably wondering about that. Cats in Egypt were represented in a social and religious practice of ancient Egypt for more than 3,000 years. Several ancient Egyptian deities were depicted and sculptured with cat-like heads, such as Mafdet, Bastet, and Sekhmet, representing justice, fertility, and power. The deity Mut was also depicted as a cat and in the cat of a company. Cats were praised for killing venomous snakes, and protecting the pharaoh since at least the first dynasty of Egypt. Skeletal remains of cats were found among funerary goods dating back to the 12th dynasty. Excuse me, I just had an adverse reaction to this potion again, sorry. The protective function of cats is indicated in the Book of the Dead, where a cat represents Ra and the benefits of the sun for life on Earth. Cat-shaped decorations were used in the New Kingdom of Egypt, indicating that the cat cult became more popular in daily life. Cats were depicted in association with the name of Bastet. Yes, so cats were a major part of Egyptian culture and lore. Mummified cats, that is really interesting. I wonder which cat kind of species they were more attracted to. Were they attracted to black cats or white cats? It looks more like black cats because Bastet's usually depicted as a black cat. Alright. Let's take a look at the breeds. See if we could find an interesting name for a breed of cats. The Abyssinian cat. Oh, that looks really cool. Let's see. The American bobtail. Their origin is a mutation. That's interesting. The American curl is a mutated cat. Well, not really mutated, but you know what I mean. That's strong. Bengal cat. Hybrid of an Abyssinian and Egyptian Mao and a leopard cat. The Bombay cat. Crossbreed between an American Shorthair and a Burmese. I do like the Bombay cat. It's a completely solid black cat. Just, it looks beautiful. The Burmese, that looks really interesting. The Chartreux cat. It's a solid blue cat. Or at least their fur is bluish color. Ooh, the Dragon Lee cat. Looks really cool. I'll link the list of all the cat breeds on my Facebook page so that you guys can see all of them and decide which one's your favorite. I'm going to be a little biased and say my favorite breed besides the Bombay black cat is the, where are you? Scottish fold cat. You're wondering why do I pick the Scottish fold cat? It's because that is the cat familiar that Lynette Bishop has. Except with hers, they don't have the folded ears when she turns into that. Well, when she gets the ears and the tail, she doesn't have the folded ears like her sister does. I like the cat. Beautiful looking cat. So, we are 18:45 into the show. I'm trying to figure out what else I want to talk about. I don't want it to be too long because of how weak I am right now. So, oh, interesting. They made another undercover boss skit with Kylo Ren again. Might have to watch that. Oh, does anybody watch The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina? That is a really good show. I'm on season 3 now. Very interesting, especially since their coven is losing their powers and stuff like that. And Sabrina's dad is Lucifer Morningstar. Funny. Especially since Lucifer means light bearer and Morningstar is partially the name of Venus. And they called Venus Lucifer too. So everybody thinks that when they talk about Lucifer in the Bible, they're talking about the devil. They're actually talking about Venus. And it's being the morning star. Do you ever find it interesting that humanity likes to cling to identities and be part of groups? Am I the only one that just does not find that odd? Especially since over here on the other side, you really don't have an identity. You just have the energetic identity of what you have. I mean, if I ever tried contacting a recently deceased person in the Earth realm, I recognize who they are right away sometimes. But you gotta be careful, because there are spirits that like to disguise who they really are. And trick you. But anyways, like I was saying with identity, spirits sometimes will show up as how they were when they died. They'll give off they'll remember a part of it, and they'll remember everything once they die. But in the veil, you really don't have an identity. You're just part of what it is. And that's the thing that scares humanity, is the fact that you don't have an identity anymore. I mean, you're a part of an energetic collective. So, case in point, once you go to the veil after you die, they're going to ask you, what did you do during your lifetime? They're not going to be thrilled when they say, I was this, and this, and this, and stuff like that. No, the veil doesn't care about who you are, what gender you are, what sexuality you are, what your fetish is. It doesn't care. It only cares about what you did when you were alive. Were you on the path of self, which a lot of people call the left-handed path, or were you on the path of service to others, the right-handed path? There is technically a middle ground, but a lot of people don't like to walk the middle ground. To me, I service myself when the situation calls for it, but most of the time I do try to help other people. But the thing is, people need to realize that you can't save everybody. You can't just do that. There's people that are going to be stuck in their ways that no matter what you do to help them, they're not going to change. That's because it's their karmic debt. Their fate or destiny, if you call it that. So mostly everybody just needs to get that out of their head that we can save everybody. It's been programmed into us since we were born. We can't save everybody. People die. It's part of life. It's part of the cycle. And death is not really how people think it is. It's not the end. It's just you going to sleep and waking up back into your normal body. Yes, this realm is not your home. The realm I'm calling you from is your home. And a lot more people are just focused on themselves now. I mean, it's not bad to be self-dedicating and taking care of yourself, but it's like people's ego is starting to grow more. Not all people's, but a lot of people's ego is growing. And then You can't even make a mistake anymore without people crucifying you for it. It's just sad, folks. I don't even want to be on anybody's side anymore. I'm sick of picking sides. It's like my generation views people as guilty before they're innocent. I know a lot of people that are my friends that listen to this are going to be like, no, that's not true. And it's like, you're going to have to look inside yourself and you'll see that it is. You know, I don't really quote biblical text, but John 8:7, he that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. There is a good message in that, but mostly people don't think so. The phrase, let him who is without sin cast the first stone, pretty much implies only those who are faultless have the right to pass judgment upon those, implying that no one is faultless and that therefore no one has such rights to pass judgment. Boom. No one has such a right to pass judgment. That just speaks words there. So, who should we talk about next? Oh yeah, I've got one person we should talk about. Aleister Crowley. I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with who Aleister Crowley is. Almost every Christian pretty much knows who he is because they bring him up in order to demonize people that practice magic and witchcraft. So let's talk about the man himself, Aleister Crowley, who was born Edward Alexander Crowley, 12th of October 1875, and he died December 1st, 1947. He was an English occultist, ceremonial magician, poet, painter, novelist, and mountaineer. I did not know he was a mountaineer. That's pretty cool. He founded the religion of Thelema, identifying himself as the prophet entrusted with guiding humanity into the Aeon of Horus in the early 20th century. A prolific writer, he published widely over the course of his life. He was born into a wealthy family. Interesting. Crowley rejected his parents' fundamentalist Christian Plymouth Baron faith to pursue an interest in Western esotericism. He was educated at Trinity College at the University of Cambridge, where he focused his attentions on mountaineering and poetry, resulting in several publications. Some biographers allege that he was recruited into the British intelligence agency, further suggesting that he remained a spy throughout his life. In 1890, he joined the esoteric Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, where he was trained in ceremonial magic by Samuel Liddell MacGregor Mathers and Alan Bennett. Moving to Bullskin House by Loch Ness in Scotland, he went mountaineering in Mexico with Oscar Eckstein before studying Hindu and Buddhism practices in India. He married Rose Edith Kelly, and in 1904 they honeymooned in Cairo, Egypt, where Crowley claimed to have been contacted by a supernatural entity known as Aiwass, who provided him with the Book of Law, a sacred text that serves as the basis for the Thelema. Announcing the start of the Aeon of Horus, the book declared that the followers should do what thou wilt, and seek to align themselves with their true will through the practice of magic. After an unsuccessful attempt to climb Kanjunga, and a visit to India and China, Crowley returned to Britain, where he attracted attention as a prolific author of poetry, novels, and occult literature. In 1907, he and George Cecil Jones co-founded an esoteric order, the AA. Not Alcoholics Anonymous, ladies and gentlemen. Though which they propagated Thelema. After spending a time in Algeria in 1912, he was initiated into another esoteric order, the German-based Ordo Templis Orientis, OTO, rising to become the leader of its British branch, which he reformed in accordance with its Thelemite beliefs. Through the OTO, Thelemite groups were established in Britain, Australia, and North America. Crowley spent the First World War in the United States, where he took up painting and campaigning for the German war effort against Britain. Wow. That's interesting. Later revealing that he had infiltrated a pro-German movement to assist the British intelligence service. Oh. That is very interesting. So he campaigned for the German war effort against Britain, but really he was infiltrating the group in order to assist the intelligence services. Wow. That is really interesting. I never knew that about him. In 1920, he established the Abbey of Thelema, a religious commune in Cefalù, Sicily, where he lived with various followers. His libertine lifestyle led to the denunciations in British press, and the Italian government evicted him in 1923. He divided the following 2 decades between France, Germany, and England, and continued to promote Thelema until his death. Crowley gained widespread notoriety during his time, being a recreational drug experimenter, bisexual, and an individualist social critic. He has been called the wickedest man in the world and labeled as a Satanist by the popular press. Pretty much anybody who goes against Christianity is labeled a Satanist, even people that practice Judaism and Islam. I'm not lying. I'm serious. If you don't go after certain Christian beliefs, you're considered a Satanist almost. To the radical ones, anyways. Crowley had remained a highly influential figure over Western esotericism and the counterculture, and continues to be a prophet in Thelema. He is the subject of various biographies and academic studies. Yeah, so he was 72 when he died. I wonder why they labeled him a Satanist for, well, besides the stuff I said. Let's read his beliefs and thought. Crowley's belief system, Thelema, have been described by scholars as a religion, and more specifically as both a new religious movement and as a magio-religious doctrine. It also been characterized as a form of esotericism and modern paganism, although the Book of Law, which was composed in 1904, as its central text. Thelema took shape as a complete system in the years after 1904. In his autobiography, Crowley claimed that his purpose in life had been to bring Oriental wisdom to Europe and to restore paganism in a purer form. Although what he meant by paganism was unclear, Crowley's thought was not always cohesive and was influenced by various sources ranging from Eastern religious movements and practices like Hindu yoga and Buddhism, scientific naturalism, and various currents within the Western esotericism, along them ceremonial magic, alchemy, astrology, Rosicrucianism, Kabbalah, and the Tarot. For those who don't know what Kabbalah is, that is pretty much Judaism magic. He was steeped in the esoteric teachings that he learned from the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, which they still exist, by the way, although pushed further with his own interpretations and strategies than the Golden Dawn had done. Crowley incorporated concepts and terminology from South Asian religions, traditions like yoga and tantra into his thelemic system, believing that there was fundamental underlying resemblance between Western and Eastern spiritual systems. The historian Alex Owen noted that Crowley adhered to the modus operandi of the decadent movement throughout his life. Crowley believed the 20th century marked humanity's entrance into the Aeon of Horus, a new era in which humans would increasingly control of their own destiny. He believes the Aeon follows on from the Aeon of Osiris, in which paternalistic religions like Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism dominated the world, and that in this turn followed the Aeon of Isis, which had been maternalistic and dominated by goddess worship. He believed that Thelema was on the proper religion of the Aeon of Horus, and also deemed himself to be the prophet of this new Aeon. Thelema revolves around the idea that human beings each have their own true will that they should discover and pursue, and that this exists in harmony with the cosmic will that pervades the universe. Crowley refers to this process of searching and discovering one's true will to be the great work, or attaining knowledge and conversation of the holy guardian angel. His favored method of doing so though performing of the Abramelin operation, a ceremonial magic ritual obtained from the 17th century grimoire, which is like a magic spell book, pretty much. The moral code of do what thou wilt is believed by Thelemites to be the religion's ethical law, although a historian of religion, Marco Passi, noted that this was not anarchistic or libertarian in structure, as Crowley saw individuals as part of a wider societal organism. Excuse me. Crowley believed in the objective essence of magic, which he chooses to spell magic with a CK, an older archaic spelling of the word. He promptly various different definitions of the term over his career. In the book Magic in Theory and Practice, Crowley defined magic as the science and art of change to occur in the conformity with will. He also told his disciple Carl Grimmer that magic is getting into communication with individuals who exist on a higher plane than ours. Mysticism is raising of oneself to the level. Crowley saw magic as a third way between religion and science, giving the equinox a title of the method of science, the aim of religion. Within that journal, he expressed positive sentiment towards science and the scientific method, and urged magicians to keep records of their magical experiments. The more scientific the record is, the better. His understanding of magic was also influenced by the work of anthropologist James Frazer, and particularly the view that magic was the precursor to science in the cultural evolutionary framework. Unlike Frazer, however, Crowley did not see magic as a survival from the past that required education, but rather he believed that magic had to be adapted to suit the new age of science. In Crowley's alternative schema, old system of magic has declined per Frazer's framework so that science and magic could synthesize into magic with a CK, which was simultaneously accept the existence of the supernatural and an experimental method. Crowley deliberately adopted an exceptionally broad definition of magic that included all forms of technology as magic, adopting an instrumental interpretation of magic, science, and technology. They argue that Crowley could be an atheist or a polytheist. Pretty much a man before his time, from what some people say. Wow, we're already at 41 minutes already. So yeah, I will link in the Facebook page the Wikipedia article about Aleister Crowley as well, if you're interested in reading about him. Fun little fact, he has been referenced a lot in popular culture. They talk about him a lot in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, because everybody still thinks that he was evil. In my opinion, evil is two sides of the same coin. Good and bad are nothing more than just archaic terms. L. Ron Hubbard, the founder of Scientology, was also involved in Thelema in the early 1940s with Jack Parsons. It has been argued that Crowley's ideas influenced some of Hubbard's work. That is debatable. The scholars of religion Asbjorn Dryden, I can't pronounce his last name, James R. Lewis, and Jesper Peterson noted that despite the fact that Crowley was not a Satanist, he in many ways embodied the pre-Satanist esoteric discourse on Satan and Satanism through his lifestyle and philosophy, which, with his image and outright, becoming an important influence on the later development of religious Satanism. For instance, the two prominent figures in religious Satanism, Anton LaVey and Michael Aquino, were influenced by Crowley's work. Yeah, you could be influenced by his work, but Crowley was not a Satanist. He's just misunderstood, in my opinion. He's not evil. He claims that there's people that claim that he called himself the Antichrist or something like that. I'm not sure if that's actually true or whatever. There was like a bunch of weird stuff that came out about him. So with that, I will be ending the podcast now. Not ending it for good, but I mean like ending it for now. That magic potion is really starting to cause me to be a little... excuse me. Maybe next time we'll have Alabaster on, and maybe we can introduce him to everybody properly so that they all know who he is. But until then, this is Morgan Dragonmoon here, and I will talk to you guys next time. See you later, everybody. The introduction music is called The Great Unknown by Audionautics, and the outro music is called New Orleans Zombie Hoodoo by Kevin MacLeod.